Too fast. Got to be hydrated, you know? That's a giant ass apple. So I've got my breakfast bacon in the oven. In the meantime, I thought, why not do a philosophy video? I tried to talk to my wife early this morning. She's just like, don't bother me until I've had coffee. I can't deal with that kind of shit. You know, I don't want to think about that stuff. It's morning time, okay? Just like relax. So here I am talking to myself, actually talking to you guys. Okay. So I thought, why don't I talk about identity? What is identity? Have you heard of the ship of Theseus? Basically, it's a thought experiment where you have this ship, this old ship, comes into a dock, and one by one the boards are replaced, the nails are replaced, and everything that's structural about the ship changes. They eventually take everything off the ship, replace it with new pieces, but it's over time because that changes things in people's minds. And the question is the old ship the new ship, the ship that was rebuilt with new boards and nails and hardware, or is the old ship the old pieces that you could reassemble into the other ship? Which ship is the ship of Theseus? Well, I mean, in my mind, it's super simple. You just have to base your determination on what your definition of identity is. But that's the crux of the problem. So the definition is really the important part. So how do you define identity? I remember when I was, well, I guess I don't remember that well, but I was younger than I am now. And I walked into the bathroom one day. I looked into the mirror and I stopped and I was just like, whoa, I had this identity crisis. It was like this weird infinite feedback loop that I was looking into my eyes in the mirror, and the mirror's eyes were looking back into me, and I was just like freaking out, and I was like, what's going on? I don't know who I am. Who is this person? What is this face? Who is this thing? Who am I? I mean, I've struggled with identity my whole life. I've had existential crisis like that. You know, why do I exist? Who am I? What am I? This and that. And, you know, like smoking pot sometimes here and there did not help those things at all. So if you have any identity crisis, definitely stay away from pot. It's not good. So I've struggled with this. It's been on my mind for a long time. You know, what is identity? What is all that stuff? Who am I? And so it was natural that I became attracted and drawn to philosophy and different things like John Locke in his essays writing about identity. And the Greeks, what did the Greeks not do? Honestly, what did the Greeks not think about? Aristotle thought about identity. So many people have thought about identity, and just like the ship of Theseus problem. So what you may not know is that biologically, we recycle all of our proteins, our skin, the hair, everything. It's all made out of different types of building blocks called atoms and molecules, and they stack together. And if you remember from my other video, philosophy video, I claim that I don't know anything. So this is all just my opinion based on what I think I've seen and heard and everything else in life. Okay. So we're built of all these building blocks, and they get recycled. So between 1 year, from the start of 1 year, I don't know the exact timeline. I'll put it up if I find it. But from the beginning of the year, January 1st, 2019 to January 1st, 2020, you have completely changed your entire makeup. You have recycled everything. All the proteins and structural components in your body have replaced themselves with different atoms and molecules. Kind of like from the food you eat, like this banana I'm going to eat right now. I do have food cooking, but I have to have pre-food because I have to get a certain amount of nutrients and micronutrients, and I'm a freak like that, so I got to eat a bunch of stuff, healthy stuff, you know. That's why I have to keep my health up, you know. Okay, so anyways, you eat bananas, apples, steaks, and everything like that, but you don't look like a steak or a banana or an apple. Well, some people probably do. So how do you incorporate these things into your body and you don't begin to take on the properties and the characteristics of these things? Well, they all break down into molecules and different types of structural components. And what's crazy about these things is that the arrangement and the atoms and the way that they're formed and packed together can drastically change the properties that we visualize and that we are aware of as, macroscopic human beings that don't see molecules and atoms. We have to use different types of microscopy and different types of things to get to that level and understand that kind of stuff. It's a really interesting fact about life that doesn't really bring us closer to the identity problem, because basically we're the same thing. We are the ship of Theseus. And in my books, I often mention this kind of thing because I like it. Like, the identity problem is really cool. It's something cool to think about while your breakfast is baking. The way I tackle the problem is I keep the definition in mind that identity is the thing that is the issue. So the ship of Theseus and the structural components and everything that make you up and all that stuff, I don't really worry about it. I don't think about that stuff. That stuff doesn't bother me. That stuff's kind of trivial. When I think about identity of a human being, I think more so brain states and different types of patterns and everything like that in the mind, and the thoughts and everything, and all the memory, all the stuff that consolidates. It's almost like a computer. When you buy a new computer, it's all the hardware, not programmed, anything like that. But then eventually over time, you put programs on there, you create stuff, you have your computer's hardware and hard drives and memory and everything stock up with stuff, and then it runs certain ways. Yeah, the operating system's the same probably as everyone else, Windows or Mac or Ubuntu for all the other weirdos out there. And it just, it transforms over time based on the inputs from the user. So kind of like us walking around in life, we have these inputs, these pressures, these things telling us from people and all this stuff and all this information, and we don't know what's true. We just take it to the face. And then we build up an identity, and then we hit 70 years old and we get dementia and forget it all. And then so what is identity? Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I'm going to go get my breakfast before it burns though, all right? Peace.